Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot.
Hello and welcome to Chinese Pod, the place where you can learn Mandarin on your own terms. Now, we bring you lessons from Shanghai, China, and we have various levels here on Chinese Pod, but today's level is, in fact, a newbie. So it's pretty simple stuff. My name is Ken Carroll and I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Great. Now, we have a short dialogue which we'll listen to a couple of times or 3 times. What is the topic of today's dialogue, Jenny?
It concerns names.
Names.
Asking for names.
Asking people's names. Okay, how do you say the word name in Chinese?
名字名字
名字. Okay, now that sounds like the second tone and the fourth.
Yeah, you're getting better.
Oh, it's your coaching. 名字 as meaning name. So let's listen to that dialogue 3 times and we'll come back and break it down later.
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平。
他有哥哥吗？
有，他有一个哥哥。Second time.
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平。
他有哥哥吗？
有，他有一个哥哥。Third time.
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平。
他有哥哥吗？
有，他有一个哥哥。
Now, I believe a translation would be in order.
Necessary, yeah.
Indeed.
他叫什么名字？
What's his name?
他叫什么名字？
What's his name?
他叫什么名字？他叫王平。
His name is Wang Ping.
他叫王平。
His name is Wang Ping.
他叫王平。他有哥哥吗？
Does he have any older brothers?
他有哥哥吗？
Does he have any older brothers?
他有哥哥吗？有，他有一个哥哥。
Yes, he has an older brother.
有，他有一个哥哥。
Yes, he has one older brother.
有，他有一个哥哥。
So you want to learn traditional or simplified characters?
Can I just learn to speak Chinese? I really don't want to write or read. It's too much for me.
Are you one of the learners that told us early on that you just want to speak and listen to Chinese and you think Chinese characters are way too complicated? Then I really think you should check out our new introduction into how to read and write Chinese characters. It focuses on simple characters that you encounter in a Chinese language environment every day. In 11 entertaining episodes, we set out to convince you that Chinese characters are actually quite easy, and we hope that you will soon share our excitement. Visit 88 characters on www.chinesepod.com/88 and give it a try. Or search for the first episodes on the Chinese Pod channel on YouTube. It's as simplified as that.
All right, now...
Sounds like someone's trying to fix him up with the older brother.
Interesting, it's a possibility. There's lots of stuff here. In fact, it is quite an unlikely dialogue in this sense. I think our academic team are trying to elaborate some patterns here and pronunciations. So let's look at it, even if it's not the most likely discussion to hear. So So the first sentence, now we said the word for name is,
名字
right? Now the first sentence therefore was,
他叫什么名字
now you may have guessed that 什么名字 means what name.
Yeah.
Now, so in Chinese, you'd say, he is called
What
name, right? So, 什么名字 means what name. Now, he is called. How do we actually say that?
他叫
A first tone.
Yeah, and a
fourth
fourth.
tone. So, 他叫, he's called,
Yeah.
right? 他叫什么名字? What's his name? Right.
Yeah.
So this is simply how you say it
Yeah.
in Chinese. What's his name? 他叫什么名字? Or if you're talking to a kid, you might say the same. 小朋友，你叫什么名字?
你叫什么名字 What's your name?
What's your name? 你叫什么名字? Now, in Chinese also, 名字 means given name, right?
Yeah.
Not family name.
Yeah.
So when you ask somebody 你叫什么名字, it means, what is your given name?
But mostly we just take it as the
whole thing.
Yeah, the complete
Yeah.
thing.
If
you want to be more precise, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's another expression for family name. I think we'll look at that in another lesson. Okay. Now, so he's called Wang Ping, or his name is Wang Ping.
他叫王平。他叫王平。
Now, again, 他叫, 他 meaning him,
Yeah.
叫 meaning to be called. It's also a verb, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
to
call, to
call.
actually call out.
To shout.
To shout. 他叫王平, so he's called
Yeah.
Wang Ping. That's his name. So you ask somebody, what's your name? 你叫什么名字? 我叫 Ken. My name is Ken. So that's the format. Yeah.
And Wang is one of the most common family names in China.
Indeed, it is. It's in the top 5. Li and Wang, and although those are probably the two top ones. So it's very, very common. And Wang actually literally means king.
Yeah.
Fine. Now the question was, does he have an older brother?
An abrupt question.
Indeed.
他有哥哥吗？他有哥哥吗？
Now the noun here is 哥哥, and that's first tone, right?
Yeah, first
哥
and neutral.
and neutral. 哥哥 meaning older brother.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so the question was, does he have older brothers? Now, 他 he
yeah.
有 the verb to have. So, 他有哥哥吗? Does he have an older brother?
Yeah. 有，他有一个哥哥。
Right, now, yo. Now, the way to answer, because the question was based on the verb yo, to have.
Yeah.
他有哥哥吗? Does he have a brother? So the answer also uses the same verb, to have. And so the short answer is
有
very useful. Chinese can be so succinct at
so
times.
yeah, efficient.
Chinese is always more efficient. If you see, for example, any written document, right, in English, and you see the Chinese translation, it's always much shorter.
Almost half. Actually, as we are reading from the transcripts,
Yeah.
we can visualize how much
You can
shorter
see it.
Chinese
You can
is.
see it.
Yeah.
And in verbal translations as well. When they're dubbing things like for movies and stuff like that, they often have to use fillers in Chinese because Chinese is just much more succinct. I think the problem can be sometimes that it's a bit more open to interpretation, but
That's true,
it's certainly more succinct. So anyway, so here's an example of a 他有没有 if the question was does he have, and the answer would be 有. He has, right? I think the reason I chose this next sentence was to contrast the tones and the sounds for brother here. So could you give us that sentence?
他有一个哥哥。
We often have people tell us things like,
I gave learning Mandarin a shot, but then I realized I really don't have enough time to commit to it.
folks who felt this way love Chinese Pod Recap. In as little as 90 seconds a day, you can refresh what you've learned so far while adding a bit of what's new to your daily learning. an innovative language learning tool to fit the busy, fast-paced lifestyle of today's professionals.
他有一个哥哥
Now, at the end, it was 哥哥.
Older brother.
Older brother. 他有, we've had that, meaning he has. Now, let's see the contrast here, because we said the word for one,
一个
一个, as in a counting situation. One brother, 一个. Now, 一个 is fourth tone, isn't it? 个.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so 一个哥哥. So what we're contrasting here is the fourth tone for 一个 and the first tones for 哥哥.
Older brothers.
Yes. Now, could you give us that again, please?
一个哥哥一个哥哥
That's easy for you to say, miss. 一个哥哥, meaning, one older brother. Whoa, some interesting, these contortions with the tones can be quite tricky, but don't worry, they'll come with practice. Maybe we could listen to that dialogue again.
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平
他有哥哥吗？
有他有一个哥哥 Second time
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平
他有哥哥吗？
有他有一个哥哥 Third time
他叫什么名字？
他叫王平
他有哥哥吗？
有他有一个哥哥
Right, now, briefly, let's fly through some key vocabulary if we could. So the word name.
名字名字
The verb to call.
叫
The word for older brother.
哥哥
And the expression for one, as in counting.
一个
So you can have 一个,
一个
两个.
三个四个100个
That's a lot of brothers right there. All right, now I think we look at those counting words on another day. They can be slightly tricky as well because there are
And you
lots
can
of
have
those.
different counting
Absolutely.
words.
But I think we've covered quite enough for today in this newbie lesson. Hope you got a lot from it. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, of course, you can go to ChinesePod.com and you can find the exercises, all sorts of extras there.
And very useful is the word bank.
I think the word bank can be very useful indeed. Yes, great. All right, we have to go. We're being signaled. We have to go. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Okay,
再见。
再见
How come you never hear of gruntled employees? Look productive at work with ChinesePod. ChinesePod.com.
What would you say you do here?
It's Mandarin on your terms.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 0150. So just go to www.chinesepod.com/0150 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/0150.